Joe, firstly, you're a consultant to the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs in the context of a disaster of this scale that requires such an immediate response. What does that entail?
Well, the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs is responsible and has the mandate to coordinate the international response to any disaster. And they exercise the urban search and rescue side of it through the International Search and Rescue Advisory Group, where the secretariat to the group is based in Ocho, Geneva. Now, they have mechanisms, systems and procedures in place through urban search and rescue teams to receive teams in the country and task them accordingly, bearing in mind that the responsibility for all operations rests fairly and squarely with the affected country, in this case, Turkey, through the Ministry and the National Emergency Management Agency, AFAD.
We're seeing here, the logistical complexity must be unbelievable. You're seeing the extent of the devastation on the ground here, the risk, the ongoing risk, because I suppose there's always a risk that more of these are going to crumble, that some of these might still be a risk. Tell us more about it.
Absolutely. Many of these buildings are unstable, depending on the type of collapse. You can have a pancake collapse, you could have a compact collapse, and depending on the aftershocks, or even the movement of heavy equipment around the site, cranes and bulldozers, the vibration can complicate rescue operations and cause further collapses.
And well, we've got a map to show us just some of the details where search and rescue efforts are located, just to give a better idea of what we're dealing with. So tell us what we're seeing here.
The problem with this particular earthquake is that it happened at 4:15 in the morning when most people are in bed, and you're going to get a very, very high rate of fatalities, unfortunately. And also the extent of the geographical area. We're looking at a stretch of about 200 miles and several major cities affected, and these have to be covered by urban search and rescue teams. They arrive in country, they go to a coordination cell, and then they're given an area to triage, to look at buildings with high probability of live rescues, and also a high probability of being able to access those persons trapped in the rubble.
One of which, of course, is unfortunately Dr. Chami. We've got a map. What sort of resources are nearby? What's his situation?
Well, if we look at the area where Dr. Chami was reported and accounted for, it's in the Atlakia area there, and at present there are 2 light rescue teams working there. You see them in the map with the blue dot. The blue dot means that these teams are currently engaged in a live rescue. Now, they are under the coordination platform of the Netherlands Fire and Rescue Service, and they're providing the Urban Search and Rescue Coordination Cell. So each sector has a coordination cell managing a group of urban search and rescue teams. Now, when the light teams get engaged in a rescue operation and they feel that the rescue is going to take in excess of 12 hours, they will quickly mobilize the heavy team. The heavy team has braking, shoring, lifting capacity well above what a light rescue team can do. We have to remember that 90% of all these rescues would have been conducted not by the international community, but by the local people. Policemen, firefighters, ambulance people, neighbors, families. These are the lightning rescues which are done at surface level.
And you were telling me that Turkey does have a strong infrastructure in that respect.
It has indeed. I worked in Turkey for 3 years following the '99 earthquake, and they have built huge resilience and capacity for response. We have to bear in mind that some of the buildings that have collapsed are old buildings, and they haven't been retrofitted or brought in line with the current anti-seismic regulations and building codes. We have to remember that earthquakes don't kill people, buildings do. And if you want to reduce the number of fatalities in an earthquake, you go for anti-seismic constructions, you prepare your emergency services, and most important of all, you engage with and prepare the community.